More updates. Man, we got tons of new stuff, parts, pieces, Leia, the Bowcaster. But first, a word from our sponsor. Hey builders, Field Marshal here. You know what? In a world gone mad, we've got politicians who are babbling idiots. We've got a heat wave. Hey, well, at least down here in Greenville, South Carolina anyway. You know what helps me? BRAWNDO, the drink of champions. It's got electrolytes. It's what plants crave. There we go. Oh my God. Hope it doesn't rust that. There we go. A little there, a little there. Perfect. BRAWNDO, what idiots crave.
BRAWNDO, it's what plants crave.
It's got electrolytes.
Hey guys, Field Marshal here. Got a few new parts and pieces to go over. Gonna do a quick video because I'm getting so many texts about some of these things. I figured I'd just go ahead and put it out on YouTube here. So the first thing is, oh, by the way, last week, me and Scott at Crucible Props, did a video talking about a lot of new stuff. Make sure you go to his YouTube, and he's got a Patreon site where you can see that video. And I'll try to link it onto my Facebook too. But that was a pretty long video, but there was a lot of good stuff in it. Probably first thing we ought to talk about is where I'm at on the Bowcaster, because I'm getting a lot of activity on it, and you know what? I'm actually seeing where a lot of builders are actually seeking out and trying to find these old Horton Elite, crossbows, which you're not going to find. And then they're finding the ones they're modifying, which is an expensive pain in the butt way to do. But, have no fear. It's almost over. I'm almost done. We're really, really close. So here, I'll try to hold this up. I don't have it all screwed together yet, but you will get an idea of what's going on here. And that piece will be there. The two ears, they're in the works. Actually, a gentleman is making a form and trying to bend those. They've got kind of a bend, and they're kind of symmetrical, but we've got those. That's one of the last parts left to do. All of the barrel part and what we call the rear forks back here is done. There's a couple little round discs that go here that we're currently making on the machines here, and we got the trigger left to do. But other than that, the bow part's done, which I've shown you that already. All these pieces are done. And of course, I already make all the scopes and scope mounts for it. And you see all the greeblies and knobs and the plates and how to mount that's all taken care of. So, here real soon, this is going to be a badass build. I mean, this is going to be super nice. And it's almost done, guys, so just be a little bit more patient. You'll see it very soon. So everybody check that out. Okay, good. Yeah, I'm very happy with that. There's a lot of pieces on that were unknown. Having to pretty much just, scale that, based on parts we know that are on it. It's been kind of it's been a challenge, but it's almost over. Let's see here. It's coffee time. Okay. Oh, let's go to this. This is something that everybody's been asking for ever since I come out with a lot of you are familiar with our little Jawa build here, which I'm currently making more of those too, based off the Denix Lee Enfield. And I've always made the grenade cup, out of steel, which blues up. You can black this thing out. It looks like the real one. And of course the one has the full knurl. It's hard to find the real ones with the full knurl, but we've got that done. It's a beautiful replica. You can set it side by side with the real one. You pretty much can't tell. They even weigh about the same, which therefore is the problem. if you're actually using this to troop with or take pictures or do whatever you're doing, it's pretty heavy. That grenade cup, it's not light. So what I did was I made these aluminum ones, okay? Very simple, lightweight. You know, you can, and most time you paint this entire thing black anyway, so they're already anodized black. All the same details. Everything's there, even the adapters to go to convert it to the Lee Enfield. Super lightweight, makes a big difference on it. So those, I will actually probably put those up on the website probably early this week so you can start seeing those. That's completed. Another question I keep getting, and I guess because there's so many resin builds or people doing 3D printed EE3s, but yes, this is a bronze alloy grip that goes on the Webley flare gun to make that build, and I do have those separately. Okay, this is not a 3D printed thing. This is actually cast in that bronze type material, so you either paint it up for the Return of the Jedi one or leave it like this and just weather it for the ESB one. But those are on the site. They've been on the site. Let's see, we're getting interrupted here. Okay, now I know everybody is dying to see this. Of course, you're familiar with the Leia, the Margolin, and we laser scan that. If you haven't seen that project, go to the website. There's a blog. There's a blog for all these on my website. Go to it. I post all the build pictures up and down. I try to put descriptions on everything, but it's kind of just like a picture tutorial on me and the process of doing this on the CNC machines out there. So, well, since me and Scott talked last, I was discussing this piece right here. It's what I call the sight bridge, okay? And this little booger is, saved it kind of toward the last because this is not an easy to machine part. And everything wants to snap and break off, but we actually completed this over the weekend and they're running now. I guess you can kind of see that. Maybe John take some close-ups of this on the gun, on the blaster here, but look at this. Everything is starting to come together. I've got a real hammer here. Hammer and the trigger, I believe, are the last parts, and we'll be tackling those probably next week. So, man, you know, hey, we got the Bowcaster about to end. We got the Leia about to come to a close here. All the fun stuff is happening. David, this morning, he got here, and the sight bridge has two pieces, which I showed you this the other week. You know, the part that goes in there, which is like the real one, and then the sight piece, which this is a real one here. You know, they slide up in here. That's how that's supposed to look. Okay, so in process right now, David has got this part of it done. This is just op 1. There's probably going to be about 3 ops because they'll have to hold it and trim the top, and then they'll have to thread this hole through there. But you kind of see where we're at. Getting closer. It's a tiny little part, little intricate little part actually. But the sight bridge and that are coming to a close, and I was really worried about that part because I actually didn't know how we were going to hold that and machine it without it breaking. But it actually did really well. We knocked that out in short order. So, and it slides, you can tell it slides right on in place. And you know, once we get the grips on it, and there's a couple little screws we'll put in here. The real one I think has some little drive pins or something in it, but we'll do something where you can install it a lot easier. So we've got that, and other part that I was thinking about too. We were talking about this the other week on the other video, the little sear piece. And if you watch that video me and Scott did, you'll see the real one. And I was worried about, there again, all these little things are little fiddly parts, and if you're a machinist out here, you'll get it, but it's hard to do little teeny parts that are sticking out or things that are not supported. Everything wants to vibrate and chatter. I was really happy that the little nub that sticks out the side, because when this thing catches the hammer, it catches the hammer on the top part, this right here is where the trigger comes back and pivots it. You know, that's a little pivot point. And I was worried about that not being strong enough, but it seems even in aluminum. The real one's steel, obviously, but this one turned out really well. So happy. David, one of the machinists here, actually did that and pretty quickly in a couple ops, and it was a lot simpler than I thought it was going to be. So I'm going to quit worrying about all this hard stuff. It just, you know, we'll just knock it out. So, and I think I showed everyone in another video the front part, which is going to enable you, like on the real one, to be able to pull the slide back. It goes in here. I'm not quite ready for it. There's a hole still got to go here, but this part here, spring loaded. You know, very similar. Now I didn't copy the real one to one. I just made it look. Like it, because obviously I don't want this thing to be able to be used in a real firearm or as an upgrade or anything like that. But when you put this in, it's going to look just like it and do exactly what we want it to do. So that's done. All these little internal parts that you didn't really realize that go into making this thing. I'm still a couple weeks away from getting the custom screws done, which every screw on this is a different thread and different head. You know, it's all not off the shelf stuff. So they're a couple weeks out from getting them back from the screw machine guys. So like all the replicas I do, I try to copy the look of the real screws. I've changed the threads because these are a bunch of communist threads, and I've changed them to 440 and 632. So they'll be a lot more user friendly to us in the US, and they'll make everybody overseas with the metric system hate us. Sorry about that. Let's see, we got the sight, got the sear. Oh, two other parts, a little barrel lock piece in aluminum. That wasn't quite completed in the last video with the little barrel relief in it. That's done. And another part I get a lot of people asking about, the people that do have some Margolins or some later Margolins that are trying to do conversions to them, they'll have a mag on them that's different, that's not screen accurate. I had to deal with that on this one right here with the mag release, which, oh yeah, that's actually done. Didn't show you that. Spring-loaded little guy, just like on the real one. It even has the little step knurling in it, just like the real one. That's done. And we made a mock mag, so we leave lots of room inside here. So if you want to put electronics or do whatever you're going to do in there, it's you got all the open space you need. And this little piece, now, and people have already asked me this, if they could use it in their real one. Margolins can vary a lot. Some mags won't just go into other ones. They're probably hand built. But, oh, I got to take the screw out here. But this one will actually go in the real one. So all you out there that have got the wrong mag in your Margolin and you need an alternative, because you're not going to find a vintage mag. That's pretty much impossible. But this piece right here, I'll sell it separately, so you'll be able to convert that, and that'll drop right in there and look real. Okay, it's two pieces, by the way. I couldn't machine it all in one, and it even has it'll even have a screw in here that looks like the little button that you'd release this with in order to disassemble the mag. So it looks really close. I think once that's black anodized, it's going to look just like the real thing. So, man, it's a quick down and dirty recap on stuff. If you've got questions about anything that I'm building or have built, or feel free to leave comments, on the Facebook page there, or go to Blaster Factory. You can text me from there, or Facebook, Field Marshal, Christopher Field Marshal Vandenberg on Facebook. You can get to me in any of those ways. I try to answer as fast as I can. Some days I get more traffic than others, so it takes a little time. But if you need anything, you need help with the builds, Oh, and I'm going to reiterate, go to the site. A lot of these things are on the Blaster Factory website. Go to the top. There's a blog. You can see a lot of the assemblies, and even where the product page is at the bottom. Usually, if there's assemblies on the on YouTube, assembly videos are there too. So a lot of those things have already been done for you. So, okay, guys, Field Marshal out. Oh my God. There's no freaking alcohol in this.